Meet the Cyborg, an insanely powerful build who acts without emotion and holds unwavering loyalty to her creator. The Cyborg has Strength 9, Perception 2, Endurance 9, Charisma 1, Intelligence 6, Agility 1 and a Luck of 1. The Cyborg has Enhanced Strength, which will allow her to eliminate her enemies with her bare fists if she so wishes. A Perception of 2 gives us access to the perks we all want without taking away from our other stats unnecessarily. Endurance is our tied highest stat at 9. The Cyborg has been modified to withstand just about anything, and having such a high endurance helps to represent this. Charisma is bottomed out at 1. This character has no interest in talking any more than she has to, so we won't need any additional points of charisma. Intelligence is at 6 to give us access to some great perks and also keep us leveling at a good rate. Agility and luck are both at 1. The Cyborg isn't particularly agile and doesn't have luck on her side. She won't really need them though, as she is a walking machine of destruction. The essential perks of this build are Iron Fist, Rifleman, Chemist, Adamantium Skeleton and Science. Iron Fist and Rifleman are our main damage dealing perks. The Cyborg uses a combination of unarmed and powerful energy rifles to take down her foes, and these perks help us dish out a ton of damage. This character uses chems regularly to enhance her combat abilities, and the Chemist perk will increase the duration of them all. In terms of role-playing, I like to think of the chems as subdermal implants that have been installed into the Cyborg, and just need to be topped up with different chems to keep them active. Adamantium Skeleton helps us to feel more like a machine by literally making us have a metal skeleton. This is also great fun for jumping down from buildings and tanking missiles. Science will let you modify your weapons to make sure they work for their purpose and are as powerful as possible. The recommended perks are Heavy Gunner, Rooted, Chem Resistant and Life Giver. Heavy Gunner will boost the damage of the other weapon we will be carrying with us, the Gatling Laser. This helps to make the character feel even more badass, and helps to deal with tough enemies with ease. The Rooted perk lets us deal plenty of damage with our Power Fist, and also gives us a bit of damage reduction while we are standing still. Chem Resistant will just be a helpful perk to have. We use chems all the time with this character, and it's nice to just not have to worry about addiction when we play. Life Giver gives us a few more hit points and health regen. This helps to represent the Cyborg as an indestructible machine who never stops. The role-playing perks I've included for this character are Aqua Girl, Rad Resistant, Solar Powered, Hacker, and Awareness. The Cyborg's enhancements mean that she doesn't have to worry about breathing, and is far less affected by radiation than a human would be. I like to roleplay that the Cyborg is quite literally solar powered, and grabbing the perk will make us even more powerful when it's daytime. The Hacker perk lets us access more areas in the game, and also shows her affinity with technology. Finally, the Awareness perk lets us scan enemies in VATS to see how powerful they are and help us to eliminate them. The Cyborg knows almost nothing about her life before she was modified. She understands that her creator chose her due to physical similarities between the two, and that she had underwent several different surgeries to make her look exactly the same as her creator, and to also make her nigh on indestructible. She was designed to be a body double for her creator, that could stand in for her at any dangerous situations, and could also be used to make her seem more powerful than she actually was. The Cyborg was trained in combat by her creator, and learnt to fight the same way that she did, but due to having enhanced strength, the Cyborg was able to use heavier weapons than her, so her combat protocols were modified to reflect that. In addition to combat, she was also trained to act in a similar way to her. She had to walk the same way, talk the same way, and even copy the micro-expressions that her creator made. When her training was complete, the two were indistinguishable from one another. The only real difference between the two was intelligence. The Cyborg's creator was obviously a genius, and although the Cyborg had received modifications to her brain to enhance her cognitive abilities, she still wasn't nearly as smart. This was likely an intentional flaw by her creator though, as she would always need to have at least one advantage over her creation. The Cyborg spent several years as a stand-in for her creator, attending meetings with military generals from both sides of a war, and occasionally receiving instructions to kill them if they didn't agree to the demands that she had been told to make. She killed without remorse every time. Emotion was no longer present within the cyborg, and although she had been taught to show emotion to blend in better with others, she never actually felt anything. Her loyal actions towards her creator meant that she became a feared individual by all who knew her, and once her creator foresaw how the war would be ending, the cyborg was instructed to live a civilian life for a time, laying low until she was required once more. She was given a full backstory as a normal human, given a name for the first time, and was told that she would regularly receive instructions while she was laying low to tell her what she needed to do. These instructions ended up telling her to marry an ex-soldier and keep a close eye on him. The soldier that she married seemed distant and never was willing to talk about his time in the military, but the cyborg was given permanent instructions to listen to everything he said, and to also keep him safe from danger. To ensure that they would stay together, the cyborg was artificially inseminated and became pregnant, having a son who she was also instructed to protect. In time, the bombs fall, and she is told to make sure her family makes it into the vault. Once the cyborg leaves cryosleep, she realises that she has failed in her primary directive, and needs to report into her creator to know what to do next, but she is unable to contact her remotely. She will instead endlessly search for wastes, her only purpose being to receive new orders from a woman who is most likely dead. The main story faction that the cyborg will be siding with is the Institute. She will be focused on getting her hands on the best tech around, and also wants to be able to keep an eye out for any mention of a creator. Being at the Institute gives her the best opportunity to do both these things. Although I didn't actually travel with a companion at all whilst playing, I would recommend that you build yourself a robot to travel with. This lets you have some additional firepower on your side, and gives you plenty of opportunity to customise your follower to fit your needs. The weapons I have included for this build are the Furious Power Fist, Old Faithful, modded out as a laser shotgun, a plasma rifle, and Final Judgment. The Furious Power Fist can be looted off of Swan once you've killed him, and is probably the best unarmed weapon in the game. Old Faithful is an instigating laser rifle, and works very well as a shotgun for rapidly dealing with close range enemies. It's especially good for taking down swarms of weaker enemies due to its spread and fast fire rate. The plasma rifle is going to be your go-to weapon for engagements at a distance. Modded out with an improved sniper barrel and reflex sight to make it into a powerful marksman rifle. Lastly, Final Judgment is a very powerful Gatling laser, but before you can get this legendary weapon, just go with a standard one. The Gatling laser will be the weapon you use when situations get tough, or you're fighting one of the huge monsters in the game. In addition to these weapons, I recommend using plasma and pulse grenades to tie in with the whole energy theme of the build, and also just because they're pretty damn awesome. The armour for this build will be the Devastator's chest piece, Devastator's right greave, Destroyer's left leg, and Protector's arm guards, all worn on top of road levers. These items are all bought from merchants in Diamond City and Goodneighbor, and offer quite a different aesthetic that suits the character well, and also gives you some great legendary effects, such as a 15% damage reduction against humans and super mutants, and a slow time effect whenever you drop too low on health. This character is a badass cyborg that kills without emotion. The main motivations of the character will be to simply await for the arrival of the one who made her, and she will just do whatever it takes to survive while she waits. There's a fair bit of flexibility when playing this build, so feel free to just have some fun with the character. In terms of combat, you have weapons for different ranges, and for the most part you will want to switch through them as enemies get closer. If you're ever in a tough situation, or just want to feel more powerful, then dose up on chems to get an edge in the fight. I'd recommend hotkeying chems for quick injection for them during combat, without having to go through your Pip-Boy and manually select them all. This helps to keep things moving along at a good tempo, and makes the game that bit more enjoyable. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe to the channel and also hit the like button. Leave a comment if you have any questions, or just to tell me what you thought of the build in general. Next week I will be having a very special build out, and I recommend watching a few of my old Fallout builds before you watch next week's one. At the very least, you will want to watch the Master of War before you see next week's build, but I will also include links to all the builds that are worth watching to further understand more about next week's character. Thanks to all of you who have watched the video to the very end, and I hope you are all looking forward to the next build.